Why hello you amazing beautiful people, and welcome back to another Tuesday reaction video. This is a bit of an interesting one. For quite a while, Swifties have been recommending the channel Ally Sheehan. Loads of times, by the way, gets recommended more than any other reaction in my comment section, saying that they are one of the best Swifties in the content creator space that does amazing breakdowns, is like very, I can't think of a better word, so I'm just gonna say intelligent when it comes to how they craft their videos around Taylor Swift, and just gets constantly praised in my comment section. And I see loads of people bringing up certain videos they'd like me to watch or me to react to, or even my own timer on video. And even our good friend of the channel, Jamie, has constantly been recommending this video that came out a few days ago. So I thought this could make a pretty good first time reaction to Ally Sheehan. Now please, 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 this is a reaction video. Please, if you are not already subscribed to them, go subscribe to them right now. Link to Ally Sheehan's channel is going to be in the description. Please go support them, go watch this video, go show all the love in the world before you even consider watching this reaction to this. Nothing but support to this content creator. I'm excited to finally check out a video from someone who's been so recommended in the Swiftie space. So let's do it. Please like, please subscribe, and let's jump into my first time ever reaction to the one and only Ally Sheehan with her video, The Life of a Showgirl, The Deep Dive.
Is back. She's just a little bit less tortured.
Our poet is back. She's a little bit less tortured. Love that.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new.
Okay, I'm already loving her energy.
And today I will be breaking down all of the poems that Taylor wrote.
Damn, look at Taylor, wow.
So if you are new here, this is part of a series I do on my channel where I basically do a huge deep dive into something, analyze it, break it down, explain references, explore themes, and these poems are something that I haven't seen really anyone talking about on here, so I thought it might be helpful to go through these together, dissect them, and explain their significance, because I think more so than ever, they are really vital to understanding this album. So historically, for most of Taylor's albums, she has written a prologue for us to kind of introduce the album, the main thesis statement of what she was going through in her life at the time and what themes will be explored on that record. Now for Showgirl, Taylor wrote us poems.
A poem? How sweet. What poem would that be?
You guys might remember
Okay, I'm already loving the flow and editing style of this, especially the Matilda clip as well. I haven't seen that in a long, long time. There is already such a warm energy coming from this video that immediately just lures you in. Like, I feel it straight away. There's a lot around Life of a Showgirl that I have missed, that people are constantly letting me know. Little things are being discovered all the time, every day. I mean, we've got Taylor Swift's documentary coming out. When in December is that? Like soon as well. So there's still so much going on. Still so much I feel like I'm clueless on.
The Tortured
so this video is going to be
Taylor wrote
very helpful.
An in summation poem as the prologue, and I did break that down in this video here if you missed that. But Taylor has done the same thing here for Showgirl. And the reason I wanted to explore this and discuss it with you guys today is because these poems contain a lot of the themes that I think people were really expecting to see on the lyrics of the album, whereas instead they are found here in these words. So if any of you bought a vinyl, personally mine just arrived this week. Side note, I love this picture so much. She looks like the Cowardly Lion if he slayed. The poems can be found
the Cowardly Lion if he slayed! That is amazing!
Also, quick show and tell for how beautiful this vinyl is. This is the pink champagne version. But while I'm showing that, I did just want to share a reminder that if you didn't buy any vinyls or CDs or merch or anything for this album, or literally any artist that you enjoy, that is more than okay. I know collecting has kind of become a bit of a culture, and obviously places like TikTok or Twitter only amplify that. I just want to also normalize that it's valid to not buy things. I am not a collector, so I don't often buy albums. I only was lucky enough to get this week because my friend had bought two and I saw how beautiful it was and I thought, why not? I would love to own that. But you know, prior to that, I just do these things because I want them to look pretty for you guys for these videos. So I don't ever...
I love that. I really love that. If you want to get them, absolutely get them. But if you don't want to get them, there should be, I wouldn't say any stigma around not getting them. It's more for the people who feel like they might be missing out by not getting it. Don't ever feel like you have to put yourself out. These things are quite expensive, so you don't have to get them. You shouldn't feel pressured to. Like, you support the artist by simply listening to their music, sharing their music, all right? So never feel pressured or upset if you weren't able to, okay? That's absolutely fine.
I want you to feel bad if you see other people having vinyls or you hadn't seen these poems before because they are just in, you know, the physical media. I just wanted to reiterate that that is completely normal. Also, I should mention, kind of while we're on the subject, if you were wondering, like, Ali, where is the album deep dive? Why haven't you posted that yet? 2 reasons. One, I keep discovering and uncovering more about this album that I want to include, but also I am of course putting together a giveaway for this album deep dive, and I'm still waiting on a few things. They're very exciting things, but I'll hopefully be filming that next week. And if you aren't subscribed and would like to be here for when I do the deep dive of the life of a showgirl, you can subscribe down below, and definitely give this video a like if you would like to see more from me.
Go subscribe right now. Any video that we ever do a reaction to, please make sure you always check the description on my videos, where you will find the link to the exact video I am reacting to, and Ally Sheehan is exactly the same case here. I also hope I'm pronouncing their name correctly. Let me know in the comment section if I'm messing it up. But yeah, please go support the video. Please go give them a subscribe if you're not subscribed to me already.
I'm very excited about this one. I think this is an album that is quite misunderstood, and I have a lot to say. So anyway, the fun thing about these poems is that they each had little stars on them, that when you put the letters together spelled out numbers, and then when you use those numbers, we can put the pieces together in order, creating one long passage of work, which is a very cute nod back to when Taylor would capitalize certain letters in the liner notes, and when you put them together, it kind of spelled out a secret hidden detail about who or what it might have been about.
So if you're reading the lyrics and you're like, why is that A capitalized? It's because it's part of a code. It'll spell out a code about the song, or just, you know, who the song's about, or a name of who the song's about.
Of a certain guy.
I love the way.
Maybe.
Which was very fun for us little hungry fiend teenagers. And I think this is kind of what Taylor means when she said, Easter eggs are optional. If you just want to enjoy the art, enjoy the music, and go on with your life, that's obviously fine. But if you want a little bit more, if you want to do some digging, do some work, find something extra, this is here for us too. And the fact that there are 5 poems in total does make me wonder if it's a reference to Hamlet, which was like a story told in 5 acts. Because of course you can read each of these poems standalone and just take them for what they are, or you can put all 5 together and see.
This blows my mind. The amount of like little details and Easter eggs that are inside of this that I'm constantly just discovering makes me feel like Taylor must take years and years and years to craft these albums. Like, how does she come up with that? Like, is the fact that there's 5, is there a reference to Hamlet and the 5? Like, you know, in Taylor, it probably is.
Out with. Now, it's obviously, crazy. Taylor is no stranger to writing poetry. She won a contest, I'm pretty sure, when she was a child for her poetry, but also she has released them throughout her career, especially in the second half. And I just think they serve as a great diaristic insight into the thesis statement of what she was experiencing while writing that album. So I just want to show everyone this picture one last time. Like, let's just appreciate that. That's insane. And also this while we're at.
I love that everyone can just like. I love that the Swifty community is so amazing and literally just taking Taylor and just like propping her up. You know, like all of us. It doesn't matter who you are. All of us are just like, look at Taylor. Look at Taylor. She fucking hell, look at Taylor. Doesn't she just look amazing? You go, Taylor.
One last time. Like, let's just appreciate that. That's insane.
Let's just appreciate that. Let's appreciate that.
That's insane. How many fun things are in here.
I love it.
Hello? Can you tell I'm very excited to.
I'm gonna be honest, my heart, like, I nearly had a heart attack because the way she, like, turned that, let's just say, I didn't think those were knees, and I was like, there's no way, and I swear to God I was gonna have a heart attack in this chair. If anyone saw what I just saw, did you have a mini heart attack with me?
Had this arrive? Okay, well, without further ado, let's get into it. Up first, we have poem 1, Baby, That's Show Business. That was on these vinyl sets. You woke up branded with the lines of pillow creases, thunderbolt tree roots across your cheek. In turn, last night's mascara stains the ivory hotel pillowcase. This already just paints such a vivid and clear picture. Waking up with something imprinted onto your skin indicates you've either been so tired that you fell asleep doing something, or slept so deeply that even an uncomfortable position wasn't enough to wake you up. Mascara stains because she's performing so hard and getting to the hotel, getting to bed so exhausted that
just
you couldn't even possibly manage to get your makeup all the way off. And I think we've all been there. I think we all sing and also have left makeup on a pillow once in our lives. I'll say if not, you haven't lived properly. You've got to have at least one iconic night out in your life.
I'm definitely not going to expose my wife for maybe when we were together in our earlier days, she, you know, enjoyed a glass of wine or a bottle and would fall asleep everywhere. I'm gonna be honest, like, my wife isn't heavy, but there's something about a passed out human that is like trying to lift up a car. Like, why do they get heavier? My wife, not heavy, but when she, like, in the younger days, when did she, like, you know, too much wine, and I had to, like, carry her butt somewhere, I swear I would have had better chance picking up a truck and carrying it. Like, is it like dead weight? I'll be like, "Ah, nah, 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 nah," just like struggling. I feel like I'm carrying 10 different versions of her. Don't ever tell her this, she'll kill me. But it's true. And like I said, she's not heavy at all. It's like somehow, I swear she puts weights in her pockets just to fuck with me, just to make it more difficult. She's not even past that. She's just laughing under her breath.
Where you are so tired that maybe all of your makeup doesn't
But
get
yeah.
removed.
Yeah.
The clean girls are going to hate that one. Question for the clean girls. If your partner went missing and you were out all night with the police searching for them, can you tell I've just watched Teen Wolf for the first time? When you got back at like 3, 4 in the morning,
It's
you
a
are
random
exhausted,
question.
you're distraught. Do you do your full skincare routine? Let me know. And also,
Well,
I think just the note of it being a hotel
Such a
pillowcase adds
specific
that kind
question.
of element of unfamiliarity and reminding us
Amazing.
that it's, you know, a different city every 3 days. For this 2-year period, you are forever
Yeah,
in a bed
good
that
point.
isn't yours. And I think it
Good
takes a
point.
certain kind of person to thrive or even survive in the kind of transient life that is life on the road, being on tour. I think I could love it because I do love travel and living a different life every day and spontaneity, but I couldn't do like the performing part. You could not pay me to do live stage performances, but like living on a tour bus, living in a bunk bed, or in this case, like hotels, very nice hotels. I could do that, especially if you have the capacity to spend your days off exploring those different cities. But I guess in this case, that's a luxury Taylor doesn't really have. I really like the imagery of, what was it? Thunderbolted tree roots. It's not even just a single line across your cheek, but rather multiple branches of like a lightning strike, indicating that maybe
Yeah.
you were tossing and turning, and the result of that is multiple imprints. Not that kind of imprint. You say
The Thunderbolt imprints to me also feels like straight imprints, because usually when someone wakes up, they're not like curly lines or anything like that. You got like straight freaking lines on your face. So that's kind of what I imagine. Like Thunderbolt is because a Thunderbolt is like usually like a straight sort of jack, you know, like a jagged sort of symbol. So the idea of like Thunderbolt imprints in my mind is like jagged straight lines.
good morning to them when you walk in, and they don't correct you as they spray vodka on the armpits of the dancers' costumes. I just love that so much because it tells us, you know, she's woken up clearly. It is no longer morning. It is afternoon by the time you've eventually been able to form some consciousness and get yourself up out of
Yeah.
bed. The team of people she's working alongside here, whether it is hotel staff, her crew, her dancers, her makeup artists, are kind enough to not correct her and say, actually, it's afternoon, because they know this is a team sport, but that is our leader, you know? She's doing the most out of everyone. It's a real politeness to not correct that. Now, the vodka spray is very intriguing. I did some
Yeah.
research into this. Apparently, it is a great industry secret. Many of you might have already known about this. I didn't. So spraying vodka on the costumes can eliminate odor and keep fabric fresh without causing any damage. So it like works as a natural deodorizer. So if you
I didn't think it was a literal thing. I thought it was more figurative. I thought it was the idea of like being in the entertainment industry, people going out, like this person's come home and has fallen asleep. Like maybe they went to the bar before they went home and they're smelling a little bit of alcohol, and they come in the next day in the same clothes a bit later on and just smell a bit of alcohol. And I assumed it was more metaphoric, like vodka smell on your armpits. It's not a literal spray. It's almost like saying that that's what we did. Even though you already smelled like it, because you know you've come straight from like your hotel room in your clothes that you were wearing last night here. But that was my perception of it completely wrong. I didn't realize it was a literal
garments
thing.
that are dry clean only and you're doing a 2-show day, or you're traveling and can't necessarily get these to a dry cleaner, perfect solution. We learn the tricks
Never
along
knew
the
that
way.
was a real
the
thing.
flesh-toned bandage wrap covered by skin-colored fishnets, because you will cover up the wound no matter how deep it is. No one ever knew. And baby, that's show business for you. Obviously, I am in fact learning the tricks along the way. I think that's something that is so fun about performing, whether it's
God damn it, Gizmo. Yes, you. You silly doggy. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. Yeah, why are you looking at me all confused? The dog just came in, and I didn't hear him sneak in the door, and he just jumped up on the bed, and it just scared the shit out of me. Because no one's in the house at the moment. My wife's gone to pick up our eldest son from school, so I'm here alone. And usually when I'm here alone, I'll crack the door open a little bit so I can just hear the whole house. And old sneaky Gizmo over here has just snuck in. Did you guys see him down here? Did you see him in the camera? I don't know what that's going to look like in the edit. That scared the crap out of me. Yes, you're a good boy. Yes, you are. You can have a little nap on the bed. Okay.
Like
Bless
theater
him.
or cheerleading or dance, probably getting to share and learn tips and tricks from other people. And it's kind of like a collaborative, not team sport, but there's always something new that you can learn from someone else or you can teach someone else, especially if they are like new to that world. Like I always just love learning little hacks like that. There were probably so many nights that Taylor had cuts and bruises and marks on her body from fatigue and injury that we just had no idea about, because as we know, she probably had makeup covering it and flesh tone bandage wrap and then her 2 layers of tights just to cover it all up. And her dancers too, for that matter. There is a huge amount of stoicism, I would say, in performers, just willing themselves to push forward and go out on stage. And I mean, that's where we get the phrase, the show must go on. Those lines.
True. And also, you even saw this in how she spoke to Travis about the intensities of the intensities and similarities in what they were both doing, and how they sort of like Travis being a freaking athlete and then Taylor being an artist, and how there was similarities in their preparation, you know, like that there shouldn't be, but there absolutely was.
Also made me think about how Taylor has to carry wound care items or like medical grade gauze and things like that, because the stalking, the intruders, the massive security risks that face her are very real. There's been a lot of incidents that have thankfully been shut down, but you know, in light of recent events where a podcaster was shot at a university, I'm sure everyone heard about that, I very much understand the need for those precautions, and I think it's also why we haven't seen as much of Taylor out and about since then. I think there's been a real need for like higher security and more privacy, which completely makes sense. But yeah, back to injuries. The fact that it took Taylor losing an actual chunk out of her hand for us to even realize that she'd had something go wrong, because it just couldn't be hidden as well, is truly crazy. And this is also something I wonder if we'll learn more about.
I do want to say the hand clip, insane how deep that looked. Like, wow.
In the docu-series, which if you missed, I did a whole video on that with my bingo sheet of like predictions and things that I think we'll get to learn about. But I would love to hear from you guys
coming out? I
what
can't
you are
wait.
either expecting or hoping to see more of. Okay, next up we have Poem 2, which is Sweat and Vanilla Perfume. This came with the original glitter version. Coffee, stretch, piano keys, vocal warm-ups in a locker room shower, eyelash glue, a photo of him on the mirror, sweat and vanilla perfume, the cracking of joints and the distant beat of a drum, the curtain call, the monotonous thrill of it all. Again, just such visceral descriptors. You can see and smell and imagine those things she's describing. Like you.
Exactly. It's literally like the quickest morning routine that you see like content creators do ever. It's like coffee, stretch, you know, shower, singing, vocal warm-ups, drums beating, curtains open, in my outfit on the stage I go, you know.
Smell those coffee beans from the caffeine you so desperately need when you've had nowhere near enough sleep but need to be alert to start your whole new routine and do that intense day all over again. You know, you can feel the ache of your body stretching after a huge physical workout the night before. And I kind of love that those are 3 different elements warming up different parts of you. We've got the coffee for your brain, the stretching for your body, and then the piano keys, which strengthens the relationship between the two. It's working on that muscle memory. And I personally have always loved seeing videos of performers doing their vocal warm-ups in like stadium or hotel showers, just because of how beautiful the acoustics are in there. Eyelash glue we obviously saw in the docu-series trailer. Again, I can't wait to find out more about the product she used, hopefully. Photo of him on the mirror. We also got a little Easter egg nod to this in the Fate of Ophelia music video. And if I'm not mistaken, the picture of Travis on the mirror there is a screenshot of him in the F, Marry, Kill interview that he gave like 10 years ago. Now, I don't think that would be the photo Taylor had on her mirror on tour, but maybe it was.
That is a very good point. Photo of him on the mirror. There's a photo of him. I freaking loved it. Everything connects, man. It's like that Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme.
Also, if you are interested, I made a video hunting for all of the Easter eggs in the Fate of Ophelia music video, including that one, and kind of explaining what they mean. And that is over on Patreon.
Oh, she's amazing, isn't
So
she?
just wanted to give a quick shout out and huge thank you to all of the people that have gone and signed up over there. Genuinely, with how much stricter this website is being, it's been really nice to have the freedom to be able to post literally whatever I want over there. So thank you. I'm having so much fun. Just started watching Teen Wolf for the first time. It's on.
Go check out Ally's Patreon. Like, again, you'll find links to everything she's talking about in her video, and there's a link to her video in the description of this one. So make sure you go check it out for yourselves. Go check out the
Patreon. No pressure to join, but I'm just personally loving it, so thank you. The line Sweat and Vanilla Perfume, just a perfect depiction of like feminine and shiny and beautiful and put together like perfume, but also raw and gritty and exerting physical effort like the sweat. And personally, My current perfume is also vanilla. So at the Eras tour, I very much smelled like sweat and vanilla perfume. Plan it out so it doesn't look...
My wife's favorite perfume is a vanilla one. It's, I don't know if she's gonna want me to say. It's a vanilla perfume. That's all I'll say. I know people are like very picky about their perfume. I don't want to like say something and my wife's like, how dare you? I'm sorry. She wears a vanilla perfume, not all the time, but I really like it. I did get her this like cinnamony sweet spray. I can't remember what it was, and oh my god, it smelled amazing. I don't know what the hell it was. I don't know if she still got it. It's like a mist body spray. Really good.
So at the Eras tour, I very much smelled like sweat and vanilla perfume. Plan it out so it doesn't look planned. 10 different backup plans. If your red bottom heel breaks, you will keep strutting, balancing on the balls of your blistered feet. Know your exits, shoulders back, eyes up. To me, this passage speaks to not only the professionalism of a performer, but also the safety precautions. When she says backup plans, that can obviously refer to something in the show like a surprise song or choreography, but I also think it could mean an escape route. Know your exits obviously made me think of when the little riser on the stage wasn't working and she had to run to the back. Swift AF boy. But sadly, I think in the light of things like Vienna and other incidents, there's also a real need for Taylor to constantly know where are the multiple exits she could take if something were to go wrong. And I also...
I personally don't think it's that. It might be. It very much might be. But for me, the Know Your Exits, I think, is more the showgirl aspect and like the stage and performance and theater aspect, which is like stage exit right, stage exit left. It's like where are you gonna exit after this scene? Where are you gonna exit after this performance? I think that's it. Know your exits for each song, each moment. Are you exiting over there? Are you exiting over there? I think it's more that. But I definitely think there is an element of security there. But I don't know if that's what she meant. Maybe, though. Maybe.
I don't think she meant it this way, but I think we can apply it to life, too. Like, know your exits being like, know when it's time to go. And obviously, I also really love the reference to the red-bottomed heel breaking, because this is something that did happen to Taylor in Brazil in 2023. So Taylor's Louboutin heel did, in fact, break. And
she had to rip
like
it off,
the true professional she is, she broke the heel off and tossed it to a fan in the crowd. This was caught by a Swifty named Felipe Conrado, but this story moved me so much that I could not talk about it with you guys today. So Felipe had been a huge fan for 13 years when this happened. So already it was amazing that he got to experience this once in a lifetime, one in a million piece of history. Now, around this same time, just before he attended the Eras tour, Felipe's cousin had been diagnosed with cancer and had started undergoing treatment. Now, I'm going to talk about this and try not to cry, but I apologize if I do. So anyone that has been in this situation knows that cancer treatment is unfortunately very expensive. Even in Australia, I'm very, very fortunate to live here, but things like chemotherapy can be really almost inaccessible with how expensive it can be. So in the face of this, Felipe realized and decided he could sell this part of Taylor's shoe and give the proceeds to his cousin for her treatment. That alone obviously makes me really emotional just to think about like the sacrifice, the selflessness, the love for family, the things that we will do for others. But
yeah, he literally, after being a fan for 13 years, finally got this like piece of someone he adores and loves. It's in his hand, he's got it. And his first thought is, I could sell this to help somebody. Something that must mean so much to him meant nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's a very sweet story.
The part where this story gets really beautiful is the fact that when people heard about this, naturally there were some quite negative people that jumped to the worst conclusions and said it, you know, he was selling it for nefarious reasons. But when Swifties found out about this, they started a movement called #KeepTheHeel, where fans donated to his cousin's GoFundMe for her treatment so that she could get the help she needed, and Felipe could also keep this beautiful piece of history that Taylor had given him in what was clearly a hard time. And this is not...
I fucking love the Swifties, man! I fucking love you people! There's so much. So damn much. Such a sweet community. Gosh, you lot! You lot! I feel so lucky to be part of such a wonderful community. You lot are so kind.
Not all the first or only time this has happened. I frequently see this happening online where a Swiftie or a fan or a family member has to sell something that has great value, and instead of us buying it, we will say, absolutely not, you keep that and we will donate you the money anyway. And I forever feel so proud to be a part of a community that performs acts of love like that, especially for strangers. So eventually this Keep the Heel movement reached Christian Louboutin himself, who sent Felipe a handwritten letter saying how moved he was by the story and that he would love to pay for Felipe's cousin's cancer treatment. Yeah, I'm fine. But stories like that just make me so emotional because it is human beings being what we are at our core, which I think is human and kind and compassionate and looking out for one another as if we were, you know, neighbors, as if we were family, even when it is a complete stranger that we have never met and likely will never meet, embracing one another with the same amount of love that you would someone you did know. A lot of the world has obviously felt so cruel and I don't want to say godless because that's not really something I believe fully in, but there's just been a lot of darkness in the world, obviously, and it's little moments like this between human people and between individuals or a group that gives me so much hope and faith and like belief in our world. Anytime things feel really dark, it's so important to be reminded of the love and kindness that still exists and how the more that we do things like this, the more it is amplified. It's like if you smile, someone else is going to smile. If you do something good, someone else will be inspired to do something good.
I completely agree with all of that. I really do. I think it's too common now to find something negative in something good. It seems to be it seems to be so random, like so common now. I will say, I think that a lot of the issue is the fact that so many people are on Twitter these days, and Twitter is an absolute cesspool of negativity. And I do think people get so consumed in social media that sometimes they think social media is everyone. And I think when you take a step back from social media, you realize that it's not. It's just an amplified negative megaphone. And that's not how the world is. I absolutely think you should treat others how you want to be treated. And if you yourself want a good life and you want positive things and you want nice things in your life, you will get those things by putting that energy into the universe. You put out positive energy, you put out kind energy into the universe will repay you. That energy will come back round. I believe it. I really do. I think there is a balance in everything. I think there's a harmony, and the fact that Swifty, man, that is a beautiful story. That is a beautiful story. I hope one day I'm able to create stories like that. I hope one day I'm able to help people like that, because I find that story so beautiful, and I think we should all aspire to be able to help someone in that way.
Someone reaches out to another person and says, I would like to take something that is mine from my life and just give it to you for your life. That is, I think, the best part of humankind. When my dad was sick, a family friend made a GoFundMe for a similar purpose, you know, to pay for treatment, because as lucky as I am to live in Australia where healthcare is a lot more affordable than other places, unfortunately, cancer treatment is still wildly expensive, especially if you have to go down that path for years, especially if you have to do experimental treatments. It's just not an easy thing. And a bunch of you guys donated to that GoFundMe. And that's something that I can never thank you enough for. It's not something I can ever repay the gratitude that I feel. Because when someone you love gets sick, there is nothing you wouldn't do to help them. There is nothing you wouldn't give up. There is nothing you wouldn't sacrifice. And when the thing in the way between them maybe getting better or not is money, that's really hard. So the fact that I didn't really come into this expecting to cry today, I'm sorry. I have always been grateful and will always be grateful for the fact that I have somewhat of a platform or community or whatever we want to call it to share ideas with, to discuss things with, and experience music and pop culture and life together. That will always be special to me, regardless of anything else.
What a lovely soul she is, bless her.
But yeah, the fact that because there was this huge number of people that I have made a connection with in some way that was able to help my family, I can just never say thank you enough. So I just wanted to mention why that part of the poem touched me so much, because I relate to it completely. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for anyone who was there during that part of my life. I know it was a lot smaller number than the amount of you that are here now, but it is something that I personally will never forget. And even if you have joined me since then, the love that I feel from this community,
she is too precious. She is too precious
as well. So thank you. I'm so sorry that I'm a mess today. I just thought that was one of the most important parts of the poem, and also a huge sign.
Gosh, what a sweetheart. Oh my word. Why have I not checked out Ally before this? What a sweetheart of a person, isn't she? Bless her. What a lovely human being. Oh, my word, man. I'm so sorry that she had to go through that with her father. I am so sorry. I really am. I remember when, so I live in the UK. My gran, was diagnosed and passed away due to cancer. And I remember like, it's so weird. It's so weird because when they get diagnosed, they're like fine. And I always find it so fucking strange how they're fine and they seem fine. And I remember when she was getting treatments and I was seeing her and she seemed fine. And I was always like, she seems okay. And I remember the last time I saw her when she was as close to herself as I remember her being, I gave her a cuddle and it hurt her. And I always like felt guilty. And then the next time I saw her, she like couldn't even talk. She was like in so much pain. And it was like, it just wasn't her. It was really weird. Yeah, it's a really weird experience because the time I saw her before that, she seemed okay, you know, like a little bit fragile, but okay. And then the next time it was just, it's scary how it's almost like someone just says, and you're ill. And it's like when someone snaps their fingers when they're hypnotizing you and it's like your whole body shuts down. And it happened so quickly and then she was gone. And I was really close to my gran and it was a tough experience. But what I'm trying to say here is I live in the UK and it's all free healthcare here. And I cannot imagine the difficulties that come with living in a country where, like, I can't imagine what it would have been like hearing that news about my gran and then, like, the hospice and everyone who gave her all that care and let her end be peaceful not being a part of that end of her life. I can't imagine, like, having to worry about money and all the family, like, going into debt over trying to make her end comfortable. I cannot imagine that experience. So I am truly so sorry for anyone who has to experience things like that. I really am. Because I cannot imagine what that must be like. It breaks my heart to think that all that pain I went through and my family went through and my gran went through could have been amplified with the pain of having to pay for it all. And my heart breaks for Ally and her family. But fucking hell, the Swifties, you're just a damn bright, shining light in this world. So fucking precious.
Kind of like what a group of people together can accomplish. So I just wanted to mention that. And also, if any of you watching this here are also over on my Patreon, you guys are a reason that I'm able to donate to huge causes that I care about.
I thought this was going to be something different. Why is Ally kicking my ass emotionally, man? This is not what I expected this video to be. Oh, bless her heart. What a sweet soul. I can see why I all recommended her.
Link in my pinned comment, the one that I've been donating
She's lovely, isn't
the
she?
most in recent years, but I will just always be so moved and touched by
what
humans can do when we come together. So thank you.
Not again.
And let's get on to the rest of this story. Also, I should mention that the response to all of this, that since completing treatment in September, Felipe says his cousin is doing well and is forever thankful.
Yay! Don't again!
That's just so beautiful. And
Move
he
on!
said in this...
I can't fucking survive this. Move on, Ally. Oh, Lord. Ain't that the best news ever? Man! What is this? That's very good news. That's very good news.
Cinderella-like metaphor, having her heal brings such a huge emotion. Who knows, maybe one day I'll get the chance to meet her and thank her for the surprise that changed my family's life. I think Taylor would definitely love to hear about this whole story. She so often donates to fans' GoFundMes, and I know she would be proud to see this community writing for one of our own. Hit your marks, your winks, sparks, tell them a story like it's an intimate dinner party. The looks on their wondrous faces, their expressions like mood rings. Isn't it all so majestic? like, of course it is. It's a lot of other things too. My favorite part of that is probably tell them a story like it's an intimate dinner party, because I don't know if you guys will remember, but I did a video reacting to people's opinions about the Eras tour, and one of the opinions people had was that it was like inauthentic because she was saying the same thing every night. And obviously this is not how tours or live events are meant to be consumed, where like we should not have any awareness of what has happened at previous events.
Before we continue on here, I want to say I didn't find that inauthentic because she's saying the same things every night. For me, the Eras tour wasn't so much a standard music performance like most artists will do, and that's no shade against any other artist. For me, it was a Broadway show. That's how I saw it. And it's like if you went to watch The Book of Mormon or The Lion King or something, and you went and watched it the next night, it would be the same thing. Same thing repeated twice, because it's an experience almost that you are a part of. It's an event that you're a part of, you know? If you watched a movie, the movie would be the same the second time you watched it. That's what it felt like to me. And it was making sure that every single person who got tickets to this movie that was the Eras tour got to experience that the exact same way, the best way. Does that make sense?
As if they were on like a news headline, whereas the fact that we were watching the
Got
show
my nose
on
now.
grainy live streams every night in our bedrooms online kind of gave a false idea of what the tour should be, of like, there were 149 shows. She's not going to come up with a brand new speech for every single night, and obviously she shouldn't have to. That's not really how it's supposed to work, but I kind of love this like glimpse.
I wonder what is considered out of all the Eras tour shows the best one. What does Swifties rate as the best night?
Behind the curtain of being like, I'll tell them this story that I have written and rehearsed, and I will make it seem natural because I want them to feel special and like I am confessing something just live in the moment. And I also love the comparison to their expressions like mood rings, because mood rings, I don't think I'm wearing mine right now, but this mood ring I bought in Tybee Island this summer. And obviously mood rings are things that change based on, well, based on like thermal temperature, but let's just say mood. So I think Taylor's kind of making a point of, you know, I'm gonna make them cry with me during champagne problems or tolerate it, but I'm gonna get them up and happy and dancing for Shake It Off. And it's kind of just a reflection of how we're going on that emotional journey with her, but she is like the dictator of that emotion. I'm gonna keep my mood ring on now. Love that. What an interesting way to end that poem. Isn't it all so majestic? Of course it is. It's a lot of other things too. And I think that's a theme that we've discussed many a time.
It is her saying like, look at this sort of image I am presenting here, how majestic is it? But behind the scenes going, yeah, it's majestic because that's what it's supposed to seem.
On this channel, kind of like the double-sided coin or double-edged sword. I don't know what metaphor I'm looking for here, but the theme of fame and how
sword-sided
it's a wonderful
double coin.
experience in
That's
some
what
ways, but
it
also
looks
there are
like.
so many downsides. I personally really enjoy hearing those kind of songs like Clara Bow, Nothing New. I guess we could say I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Reflections on fame and the downsides.
As your career goes like this, the magnifying glass
I would
goes
say
like
I Can Do It
that.
With a Broken
How am I
Heart,
ever gonna have a private life if I'm constantly narrating it? But then again, writing songs helps me cope with the fact that fame is weird. And it helps me stay normal by verbalizing the fact that even though fame is weird, I still feel things the same way I always have, which makes you feel more normal.
Can you do anything like a normal person? Can you go out for a coffee? Can you go shopping? Or is everything an event with tons of paparazzi following you?
Anything outside my house or my apartment doesn't ever really feel normal. I try so hard to make it normal.
I really don't think I've delved this far into my insecurities in this detail before. You know, I struggle a lot with the idea that, you know, my life has become unmanageably sized.
This is something I always find mind-blowing, and that is, and I find this mind-blowing in any aspect of fame. And that's why I'll be honest, I consider myself quite lucky, because there are YouTube channels in the UK who have half as many subscribers as I do. And because the UK is quite a small country and like London is like the UK, if you have like a certain number of subscribers and they're all UK based, if you have 100 or 200,000 subscribers, you're gonna get recognized and stuff in this country. All of my audience is Japan and America. Like that's pretty much mainly where my audience comes from. So I get recognized in the UK so rarely. And the only time I ever get recognized in the UK is if I'm at like that kind, like a Japanese event would probably be like the main thing for me, or like any kind of music event, maybe. And I find it mind blowing, like any level of fame. And then comparing that, like the other YouTubers in this country that I know who are like will go out and get recognized, And on that level, this is why I'm trying to explain it. On that level seems crazy to me. And then you have this level. And I cannot even fathom what living like that must be like. Like right now I'm just in my house, so I step out, I go to town, whatever, right? Can you imagine right now you're watching this video, if you just step outside and you just see at your gate or your door or whatever, like paparazzi, and they're there. And if you drive your car, you're being followed. And if you sit at a restaurant, there's people looking at you and taking pictures of you and walking past. Can you imagine that being every day? I just cannot.
And that I, you know.
So for someone like Taylor who
like,
wants to be normal.
With the idea of like not feeling like a person.
And I think maybe that's something
like she
people
wants
were
that normal
hoping
life
to see more of on this album. But I also know that there would be a quite critical response to anything that sounded like complaint coming from someone that was doing their dream job and earning a lot of money doing it. Personally, I like to see that unglamorous, more raw side of something that was built up to be so beautiful, but we will learn more about that in the following poems. Next up, we have poem 3, The Crowd is Your King, which was the Summertime Spritz Pink Shimmer. Oh, that's the one that I have. It's this girly. Remember this city, you've been here before in another life, on another tour. Remember her? She's got a mortgage now. Straight teeth where there'd been metal brackets, standing with her 8-year-old daughter. You mouth, I know you, in the millisecond gap in your choreography. To you, she will always look the same age as the first time you saw her. She will always be 14 and a half. Remember, this is one of the sweetest parts, I think, of the whole album. To me, Taylor is locking eyes with a fan and recognizing her in that moment in the crowd, which I'm sure is something that happened many times, maybe multiple times per night. You know,
that is interesting. The way she says, remember this city, and describes remembering the city as remembering a person, a Swifty in an event, the last time she was in this city, and then seeing the same person from the last time she was in this city, and maybe for her, that feeling like a millisecond, and yet she's looking at a person who's got an entire life in front of them.
Because many of us were Taylor's age when she first came onto the scene and we became fans. Naturally, we are going through those life stages growing up with her.
Okay, but you like completely changed my life. Like, I was having the worst year ever. And like, you just like sucked me out of it. And I started this golfing pool.
Which means those who are Taylor's age or a little bit older are old enough to have kids, and for those kids to even come to the shows. And I think I must have mentioned something somewhat to do with this in a recent video, because I was then tagged by a bunch of you in this TikTok.
So I think Taylor Swift might have written a poem inspired by Eloise and me. And
I have to say, you guys tag me in so many TikToks. My Instagram is literally like only Swifties at this point. And on every time I log into TikTok, I look at my mentions and it's like just all Taylor Swift stuff. So thank you so much. My word, you lot are the reason that it takes me half an hour to drink my coffee in the mornings, just so you know.
I am losing my mind. Woke up to tons of DMs and text messages and pictures of this poem. Remember the city, you've been here before, in another life and on another tour. Oh. Remember her? She's got a mortgage now, straight teeth where there'd been metal brackets, standing with her 8-year-old daughter. You mouth, I know you. I'm having a lot of thoughts. I am thinking about the time that Taylor commented on my Instagram story about all the milestones we've been through. And I'm thinking about when she came on my Instagram live and said, every time I see you, I know you. And then I'm thinking about how when I put Eloise to bed last night, my 8-year-old daughter, that she was wearing the 22 hat Taylor gave her when she said, the last time I saw you, you were a little baby. Do I think that this poem is just about Eloise and me? Absolutely not. I do not think it is just about us. I do think it is inspired by the fans, the OG Swifties, like me, who have been around all along, who've been to all the tours, who have grown up with Taylor, who are now raising their children to Taylor. And
this is the thing with Taylor Swift, is everything she does is aimed at one person, and yet everything she does is aimed at a million people. Does that make sense?
What a beautiful tribute this is to the OGs and to the fandom. And I really...
I agree
I'm
completely.
at a loss of words about this.
It's 100% about her,
so special,
but
and
also
I'm sure there are
more
than one people that can relate to that. So shout out if that is also any of you. Lock right back into the footwork. Any missed step is a misstep. You must remember everything, but mostly this. The crowd is your king who has ruled over you for centuries, benevolently for the most part. How interesting. I think that's also one of my favorite phrases from the album. The crowd is your king who has ruled over you. So she's positioning the fans as the most like powerful entity in her life that almost not dictate her decisions, but it's what she works for. It's what she strives for to make those people happy. And I think
the thing is, at the end of the day, this is the same with anybody who is in a position of work where you have an audience who watch you, who consume you almost. Because at the end of the day, it's the same for Ally, it's the same for me, it's the same for anyone who is an actor or a musician, or anybody who has any kind of audience, because, and you know, it's the same for anyone who's in any kind of like, any kind of job where there is people who consume something you create, you do, or you are. And that is because the day they stop doing it is the day you die. You know, like that's how it works. The day they move on is the day you die. So if you hold out two hands and they all go over to this hand, then you go, all right, that's the correct hand. And then you go down that direction. And Taylor is basically saying that even though she's making these songs for her, that as Swifties, as the audience, as the consumers, she also makes it for the consumer. You know, like she is dictated and directed by what she believes she can put out. So even if maybe she has like a string of words, but she needs to know how to make that string of words perfectly consumable for the people who are consuming it, if that makes sense.
Maybe less so now that she's found a soulmate that makes her feel so happy and content. But I do think for most of Taylor's career until now, she's really made that position quite clear. You know, she's always expressed gratitude for this and centered fans in her journey and in her life. It's the reason that she is one of the only celebrities that literally hand-picked and hand-delivered Christmas presents for fans and invited them into her houses to hear the album and hear stories about it. Like, this is an unparalleled fan artist relationship, but then we have benevolently for the most part. So benevolently means to do something with kind and positive intentions. So then this to me can have kind of two meanings. We can look at moments in time like when the world for the most part turned their back on Taylor as a result of a lie that was spread. And the world, because they fell for a lie, they fell for propaganda or media marketing, whatever you want to call it, essentially called for her cancellation or worse. And then Rep Tour rolled around, or even the Eras Tour rolled around, and those same journalists, those same fans then attended those tours because it was a live phenomenon not to be missed. But it also feels like a nod to kind of the themes we see on But Daddy I Love Him. Sarah's and Hannah's in their Sunday best, clutching their pearls, sighing, what a mess. And what's the other line? Stay away from her, the saboteurs protested too much. It could very well be an acknowledgement of the fact that some fans or people have overstepped boundaries more than once. There was obviously the Speak Up Now movement, the Taylor Swift fan union, or even people blaming Taylor for tragedies like what happened to the fan Anna, or the terrorist threats in Vienna, and what Taylor's actions were in response to that.
I would love to watch a video of Ally sitting down with our amazing girls at Hits Differently. I feel like their chemistry would like gel massively. For all I know, they already have done that, to be honest, but I definitely feel like they would click very well.
Situation kind of assuming the worst in someone. For example, assuming that they don't care and that's why they haven't spoken about something, rather than because they are legally advised to for the benefit of, say, a family that's involved, or because it is unsafe for the benefit of others. Like, I think to make assumptions that someone is uncaring rather than use like context clues and critical thinking about who we know them to be and what scenarios there might be to explain the situation is to not view them with kind and positive intentions. And that very well leads into poem 4, which is Shiny Bug variant, which is these additions. She says, perhaps someday they will despise you again. Perhaps it is not a matter of if, but when. I think the way I read that just sounded really Dr. Seuss. They'll reassess your merits and then take a magnifying glass to the shiny bug, deflate all the heroes they had decided she was, and maybe they'll do it just because. Following the final parts of that previous poem leading into this is very interesting.
This is something I talk about loads, especially with Taylor. And to be honest, I've spoken about it with all of the biggest artists that we react to. Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce, Taylor Swift. Because I always find it so shocking that, and it's true, shocking is the word I would use, that you would have these artists that are in this level, and yet they worry that one day they'll be in this level. And it blows my mind that you can be like so high up the ladder in terms of what you've achieved and how far you've climbed and what you have done and what you have. And yet every day in the back of your mind, there is a worry that one day it will be gone. One day the fans might turn their back, and when they do, it all vanishes. And that always blows my mind. It blows my mind that it feels like there's no level of achievement that someone can reach where that worry goes away. And that's kind of scary.
I like the acknowledgement of like, it's not an if they will turn on you, but a when, because Taylor's been in this industry for so long now. She's seen this happen a million times, and not even just to her, but to other people, and primarily, let's be honest, women. This is a huge part of the life of a showgirl that Taylor has come to know all too well. You know, the industry, our culture today is not very kind. The higher you climb, the further you have to fall. For example, if we look at the album The Life of a Showgirl as an example of this, if any other artist had released this album with these lyrics and this production, firstly, half of the world wouldn't have tuned in. The people that don't like her would not have cared to listen, but they especially would not have gone into it hunting for things to poke holes in or look for flaws and find them where they're not there. There wouldn't be as many people twisting it with nefarious meanings from their own projections, because Taylor is a huge global megastar, a billionaire, very successful, the most famous person in the world right now. So she has absolutely everything to lose. And I think that makes you an easier target, or at least a bigger one. And I'm not saying that people are above criticism. We should obviously have critical thinking about everything we consume, but I just think the nature of where she's positioned in society currently is the reason that we saw a lot of the discourse around this album that wouldn't exist were it put out by anyone else. But
this is something that I'm actually having with, and I don't know if many of you Swifties are watching these reactions, but I'm doing reactions to an animated series called One Punch Man at the moment. And it's getting a lot of criticism, and I'm constantly saying to people that you have the free will to criticize, like you should criticize if something deserves criticism, but being able to criticize something does not give you the right to be a dickhead. Like, you still have to be respectful in your criticism, respectful with your words. These are still people who created something, so be respectful. And I think that is where the line gets blurred, because I'm seeing so many reactors in the space being very hateful, and I'm saying like, that's wrong, and it's caused this big huge issues. I don't know why it's so hard for someone to say they don't like something in a respectful tone.
Live by a strict code. Never believe your own mythology. Never type your name into the search bar. Let the wolves howl all they want. The moon should never howl back. You know if you play, it's a losing game. So you keep yourself too busy to even learn what's their name's name. And these are the reasons you are still somewhat sane. Oh, I love that. I think never believe your own mythology is so important. And it's twofold. Never believe the hype that you hear. Like, if people are inflating your ego and you have men,
Kendrick Lamar literally said this as well.
Your decisions too much, but also
Kendrick Lamar literally says that exact line. Never believe the hype of social media, even if it is about yourself. You do not believe it. Don't let people inflate your ego, and don't let people deflate you as well. Like, everything people project about you is not who you are. Who you are is who you know to be, who you are inside of here. So do not let that build you up or tear you down.
Don't listen to the haters either.
Don't let the haters stop you from doing your thing.
You know who you are. The people who love you know who you are.
That?
And everything else is just noise. I remember Selena Gomez used to say in interviews that if she could be known for anything, she wished it could be her heart. And I think that's kind of a thing that all humans should strive for, and how we should judge one another.
Really
at the end of the day, our heart is really the most important thing. Now, I also love the growth that we can see here. So from "but I howl like a wolf at the moon" to "the moon should never howl back."
A greater woman stays cool, but I howl like a wolf at the moon.
Taylor has gone from feeling like this desperate creature crying.
That song literally came on in my car when I was going to pick up my son from school yesterday, and I just turned it right up. I fucking love the prophecy.
Out in the night for something
and it made me
or
so
someone
happy
to
knowing
save or guide
those
or
feelings
help
are
her,
gone.
unable to control her own fate, to being the biggest, brightest part of the entire night sky that lights up everything for everyone else, and kind of just acknowledging, or I guess deciding, that she cannot and will not be provoked. Ultimately, she is protecting her peace, and may we all do the same. Obviously, we're told as kids, if someone's bullying you, don't acknowledge it. That's what they want. They're looking to get a rise. And I think that also kind of exists on an adult level, and also on like a fame level. People will always look for a way to take something out of context or critique and poke holes in a defense that you might have. So ultimately, it's better just to not say anything.
I don't engage. Like if I'm being followed by a camera crew and all these paparazzi, they know that I don't want to have the conversation.
Everybody's like, oh, what are you doing today? Let's dissect it and talk about it, come up with different ways that it could be awful, what you're doing right now.
Like she said, if you play, it's...
That must be such a hard lesson to learn. Like, I imagine when you first start and like the camera crews are coming up to you and the paparazzi are coming up to you, that you do engage and you do ask questions. And it's sad that eventually you learn not to because of how negative that interaction is going to be. And at first, you probably just think it's exciting.
It's a losing game. Live your life, live your truth. The truth will always come out in the wash. Your enemies will defeat themselves before you get the chance to swing. Protect your peace. Then we have poem 5, Tiny Bubbles in Champagne. And that is these variants. This one, it's just stinking cute, what can I say? He ran to his car from work to catch the flight. Missed the first act, but somehow it's better this way. It's just right. Because you get to watch him make his way through the masses, parting the crowd like some neon Moses in a sequin sea. He is a magnet and a trampoline. The tiny bubbles in champagne. What's most beautiful about this poem is that we know the exact moment she's referring to. Yeah. In Dublin, Travis arrived partway through the show, and we see the exact second that Taylor clocks him in the crowd. Watching her eyes light up while she's singing August, a song about a love slipping away from you, and seeing her entire mood change is just so beautiful.
Yes,
I also just love
is.
when you can hear someone's smile through their voice, whether they're talking or singing, and you can hear it change. It's so good. To witness Taylor going from holding back tears from the first few nights and having to take Invisible String off the set list, and then the raw emotion during, I guess we'd say, the Tortured Poets era of her life, to this absolute joy is very special. She is now celebrated by someone who shows up for her emotionally but also physically in every single way that matters to her. Life is ultimately all about the little inconveniences and sacrifices that we make to be there for someone. Like him or not, Travis is living proof of that, and Taylor does the same for him. And you'll simply never catch me making an edit on TikTok to her being in a relationship with her ex, because she's truly happy and that's all that matters. What a beautiful way to describe someone.
That's very strange if people are doing that. At the end of the day, Taylor is very, very happy. And as fans of her, we should be happy that she's happy. That's all that matters. Happiness is the #1 key ingredient to life. Like, this is what I always say about my sons. Like, regardless of what they do, who they love, how they live their lives, as long as my 2 boys are happy, genuinely happy, I will be the happiest dad in the world. That's all I want, because you should live your life happy and smiling. I think that is so important. And seeing Taylor happy, we as Swifties should be happy for her.
Magnet and a trampoline. A magnet being someone that draws you in, that is warm and electric. Well, I guess also we could say a magnet can also repel, but I think we're referring to the side of the magnet that pulls together. Everything we've seen about Travis, that fits the brief for him perfectly. But also a trampoline. A trampoline is something that lifts you up, that boosts you, that supports you, that is like a springboard. And also it's a reference that we get on the album on Eldest Daughter.
You know, the last time I laughed this hard was on the trampoline in somebody's backyard.
So ultimately, as little as we know about him, it seems like Taylor's fiance is just sunshine personified. So I couldn't be happier for her. And especially because of this next passage. Haphazard but precise, he crash landed next to you. Reckless, but never with your heart. If he's in, you are too. Okay, that's so. If you're a bird, I'm a bird. You've begun to feel that every song before was just a prayer, a wish list. He is not what you've been waiting for, he is more. Why you held out, why you left, and nothing aches suddenly. He has that effect.
Oh,
God damn.
word.
Isn't that such a perfect callback to the
fucking
information
hell
for Tortured Poets Department?
Jesus,
where he said, he never
Taylor.
scratched the surface of me. None of them did. I'm sure this is a feeling that many of you can relate to, where like you feel like you've been in love before, and then you meet that one person that just changes your whole perspective on life and on love. And I think it's very clear to see that this is a very different love for her. So
absolutely. Everyone thinks, every teenager who has a teenage romance and goes for that breakup, you think the world is over. I remember my first breakup, not my other relationship that I talk about sometimes, my first like kid breakup. I was like, how do I go on living? You know, I'm like 14 or something, and I'm like, how do I go on living? My life is over. That's it. It's over. I was gonna marry that girl. That's it. It's done. There's no point in living anymore. And I look back at that guy and I'm like, you're a dumbass. You are a dumbass. Like, what do you mean your life is over? Your life hasn't even fucking begun.
hopefully everyone gets to feel that. If he's in, you are
So
too.
funny.
That feels so important, because I think it was evident, yes, to Taylor's family, but also like a lot of us, that this was, like I said, completely different to any relationship from the past, and that they were like very
Swifties keep
committed
telling me
from
this.
very early on. Travis had talked a lot in the past about wanting a love like Jason had with Kylie, and how when Kylie walked into a room, like Jason couldn't see anyone else, and she lit up the room for him.
It was love at first sight. Fireworks exploded at the door. The moment she walked through the door, Buffalo Billiards.
I want to feel those fireworks.
It was like, if you know, like when a movie has like an angel walk through doors and it's like there's only like one light on that person.
That's what happened. I've always wanted that to happen.
It was like I was in a movie for a split second.
And it's very clear that Taylor is that for Travis. And for Taylor to go from writing songs like Tolerate It or Lommel or You're Losing Me to this kind of love is so inspiring and so beautiful. And let's also talk about the line, why you left. So to me, this could really refer to the relationship she was in for 6.5 years that maybe never really felt like the true deep level of commitment that she was looking for. You know, she likened it to a sinking ship that she was willing to go down with. She saw that it wasn't... I'm trying to explain this and I really just wish I could put the entire bridge of You're Losing Me right here. But like ultimately there is a comfort in long-term relationships. This applies to friendships, to romantic love. When you have so many shared memories and experiences and years dedicated to loving someone, it's a lot harder to let that go. And especially if it's a choice that you would willingly have to make yourself. That scene in Saw when the man has to like saw his own leg off. That's how I liken ending a long-term relationship. Like you have to...
Yeah, I agree with Ally here. I feel like that sometimes when you're in these relationships, they can feel like they're part of your life. Your identity becomes with that person. There's no you without them. And the idea of that changing is terrifying. It's like unknown and scary. And you having to leave this person, like you don't like the idea of them not being in your life. You would literally, you look at two paths. One, which is just question marks, unknown, dark, and then the uncomfortable familiarity you've got now. And you know this path and you know this journey and there might be a happy ending, but this one is scary. So you stick here. And you don't want to go to the unknown. You stick with what you know.
Cause yourself pain to be able to escape this situation that is keeping you trapped. Okay, what a metaphor I just made. Especially at her age, and especially after spending your entire 20s being criticized and slut-shamed by the world for dating men and like living a normal, healthy dating life. I can only imagine what a peace it must have felt for Taylor to think, okay, not only am I happy and in love, but also the world will finally leave me alone because I'm in a relationship and I'm done. This is my person. It's all...
Where you going, little monkey? Where you going? Yeah, I'm gonna let my cheeky little monkey dog out of the door. Yes, you wanna go out the door? Come here. No, he's ignoring me now. He's literally nose in the door gap wagging his tail. Oh, let me go let him out. Hold on. There's literally nothing out there, and yet when I opened the door, he like ran to the top of the stairs and was like, "Ooh, like, you know, Gizmo's out here now." He's such a dick.
Good. Essentially, it was the end of all her endings, or so she thought. So then to have to contemplate starting all over again, to have the courage to leave that. A wise woman once said, you know, the bravest thing I ever did was run. And even more than that, sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing. It took the pain of walking out that one door to allow Taylor to open up the new door to this room and life she's in now. It's just such a reminder that we can never find what is meant for us if we don't have the courage to let go of what isn't. One of my favorite lines on this poem, every song before was just a prayer. That is so powerful. Obviously that makes my mind think of the prophecy, you know, where she literally says, a greater woman wouldn't beg, but I looked at the sky and said, please, I've been on my knees. She literally was begging and praying. The very idea of who do I have to speak to change the prophecy, like a desperate plea, a call out to the universe or to gods with a hope to be found or seen. But this honestly goes so much deeper and further back than just the prophecy. So many of Taylor's songs are about wanting to find love. Not just romantic love, but a lot of it has been. I especially think about songs like Fearless or Mine, which are two of the most perfect track ones in the history of music, both about experiences she had not had and wanted to have, like both dreaming about that real deal love. And even beyond that, think about Starlight. Now, I may be the biggest or only Starlight stan in the world, but on that song, Taylor saw a love that spanned so many years, created so much...
Do people not like Starlight? I like Starlight.
love and life, and very clearly admired that and wanted to emulate it for herself. At least I think. The entire song has nothing to do with the Kennedys' legacy or empire or impact. It's just about Bobby and Ethel's love, their connection with each other and the family and the life that they built. And there is an undercurrent throughout all of these albums, as early as debut. Look at Mary's song. She's always been looking at these beautiful couples, beautiful examples of love that she sees and wanting that, which is maybe the most universal human experience that we all share. And Taylor acknowledging that she's been writing these songs all along, searching for love like that, when in the end, ultimately, it was those very songs that she wrote, her craft, that brought him into the stadium and thus into her life. What an incredibly full circle moment. Then we have the final prologue, and I'm gonna read it off my vinyl. Tonight, all these lives converge here. The mosaics of laughter and cocktails of tears, where fraternal souls sing identical things. And it's beautiful, it's rapturous, it's frightening. The mosaics of laughter and cocktails of tears really reminded me of Red. I think for me, that's just such a beautiful picture of the Eras tour. Like, the
same mosaics for me is like where you have different images, different things all put together to create one big image, right? So the idea of that is Taylor looking out at a crowd at one of the shows of the Eras tour and the final night of it, looking out at the crowd. I mean, she uses the final night of the Eras tour in the album, so I definitely don't think it's an accident. And just seeing all these different people, all these different parts of this mosaic that she is building, and all these different faces, all the different Swifties, and they all create that perfect picture. That's what that sounds like to me. All with their cocktails, all laughing and drinking, all singing along to the songs together. That is an image that she has in her mind.
Fraternal souls sing identical things. It's us joined together in this one moment. We've all come from completely different lives. We've all had a completely different day, and we will be returning to a different reality from one another. But for those 3.5 hours, we're bonded by a love for these songs, you know, the emotional journey we're going to go on together. And that was something that was so beautiful about the Eras tour, seeing the little moments of connection between fans, whether it was someone you were next to or someone you met during that experience. I'm curious to hear from you guys what you think it's rapturous, it's frightening, like, refers to here. What do you think Taylor means by that? What do you think the author is trying to symbolize? It's worth everything it has cost you, and even at your darkest or drunkest, you wouldn't say any different, would you? You would choose all of it again, no matter how the story ends, with the ugliest booze or the loveliest bouquet. They say that love is a choice you make every single day, and that is how you love the life of a showgirl. The fact that it's not how you live the life of a showgirl, but rather how you love it, I think feels very intentional. It's not how you just survive this lifestyle, but rather how you can thrive, like the things that you must do to stay sane. And even
it is curious that she would use those words after a lot of the negatives that she's sort of mentioned in these poems, a lot of the difficulties as well. And it's saying that's how you love the life of a showgirl, because I truly believe that there is like a love in it overall. Despite some of the downs that may come of it, it is a love. And I've always said Taylor is doing exactly what she was like put on this earth to do. She is like a prime example of someone literally fulfilling their prophecy, you know? Like, that's what Taylor feels like, because she just slots into that role without any kind of like repel, you know? Like, that was the perfect fitting jigsaw piece. And I truly feel like that. I think Taylor could not be a more perfect example of someone doing exactly what they should be doing.
Enjoy it. And like, I think that calls back to what Taylor was saying on, was it The Shiny Bug? About like, you have to set boundaries for yourself in order to live a normal existence and like appreciate your day-to-day life when there's just so much shit going on. Between all of them, I think maybe my favorite is the final prologue, just because it feels so all-encompassing about the Eras tour, and it's something that we can all relate to, that we can all feel. I love that she said, even at your darkest or drunkest. We have so many references to alcohol on her albums. Interestingly, not that many on Showgirl, or at least if it is mentioned, it's in a very different way to say Midnight's, Folklore, Evermore, and even Tortured Poets.
Summertime spreads like my whiskey sour.
And that final passage ultimately seems to convey that no matter the outcome, no matter how this whole thing ends, Taylor wouldn't do anything differently. The life that she's led, everything that has led to this point, has put her in the place that she was always meant to be. So for every heartbreak, for every global cancellation, every betrayal, friend lost, it has all led to this exact moment. And that's a perspective I really respect. I personally don't believe that everything happens for a reason. I just think there are too many tragedies in life for that to be on purpose. But I do think we can find reason in everything that happens, or we can assign meaning if we want to. So for every mistake that you've made, for every person you've lost, everything that broke you down a little bit is ultimately what built you up to be the person you are now. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we can't...
I'm not sure if I believe everything happens for a reason, but I don't not believe it either. I think if anyone wants to know what my like true core beliefs are in life, I'm not religious. I wish I was, and that's the truth. I wish I believed so strongly in something that I could say I was. But I do believe there is a balance. I believe in karma, and I believe in a balance. And I think that's more than anything. I truly believe, and this is 100%, that the universe balances everything out. And sometimes in my life, I will have an awful week and a million things will go wrong and I get the worst news and worst news. And then I always say to my wife, if all this negative is happening, then next week is going to be all positive. And it always does. It always does. Sometimes we get awful news and then good news. And I really feel like the universe will always try and balance it out, you know? Like if there's too much good, boom, you're going to get hit with something bad. Like I do believe that. And I think the more positive energy and the kinder you are and the better you are and the more good you put out into the world, the more the universe has to pay that back, you know? It's like, oh, they've put so much good out, we need to give them some good. I genuinely believe that. And I don't think the good is monetarily. I think a lot of people mistake it for being monetary. I think the good is happiness. I think you will often find that the good the universe gives back to you is going to be something that is going to put a smile on your face, something you didn't even know you needed. That's what I truly believe.
Regret any of the things that have happened to us, because without them, we wouldn't have those lessons that make us who we are today. Did I talk enough about the life of a showgirl, or did I make this all about my own
Taylor never went through everything she did.
I'm so sorry, but I just really wanted to sit down
now.
and go through these words, even for my own sake, just to kind of appreciate them a little bit more. And I really do think they add great insight into this album, or at least shed some light on the topics I think people were expecting to hear more about. You know, the injuries, the behind the scenes moments that kind of link to things we already knew a bit more about. Like, we didn't know so much about the topics she sang about on the album, but we did kind of know about these themes. These were a little bit more Eras Tour related, a little bit more showgirly, and I just think they deserved their flowers. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown with me today, and I'm sure there's so many things in these poems that I missed that we should be talking about, so if there is, let me know below. And also shout out to the people that upload pictures of their poem, because obviously I only have one, so without people doing that, we would never know the rest of this story. See, it all comes back to human collaboration and connection. Well, on that note, I am about to go out and see a musical, so I'm very excited. I hope you all had a very safe, happy Halloween if you celebrate it. I will leave my Patreon down below if you would like to see any of that extra content or just support the channel. But again, always no pressure. Just having you here is more than enough. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on if you would like to see my deep dive of this album. But ultimately, I think that is everything I want to say. So I love you guys and I will see you soon. Bye! Well, she is amazing. She is amazing. Ranking every Twilight character. What is that? It's weird that I've seen the Twilight movies. I say it's weird that I've seen them because, how do I put this? It's not my usual sort of movies to go for. But I have indeed seen them. I don't know if I've seen all of them though. I don't know. I actually do kind of want to watch them again. My wife is a huge fan of Twilight. And I'd watched them prior to meeting my wife. How do I word this? The reason I'm saying it's weird is because I watched them with someone I don't really care for these days. That's how I'm going to move on from it because I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, that's why I brought it up. I have to say, I love Ally. I absolutely freaking love her. She is adorable. She is incredibly wholesome, very, very sweet. Just a super like genuine soul, smiling the whole 45 minutes, just lighting up the room and our hearts with her commentary. I just get such positive, warming, genuine vibes from her. I love it. I love it. I feel like in this space, there's a lot of creators who seem like they're constantly putting on a mask or they're being someone else. Like it's hard to find people like this who come across genuine, who feel genuine. And I think people are getting a lot better at finding the ones that aren't genuine. And it's when you find someone who's genuine, like Ally absolutely is, you just feel it. You really do. And my word, I loved this. Her breakdown, it was fantastic because she was giving her like personal opinions and personal stories on everything, which I really enjoy as well, because it takes you out of something you already know and gives that personal touch to it. And through those personal touches, you can relate to it on a personal level as well. And I really loved how she broke it down with those personal touches and personal stories. And then also added these stories that it might be around with the clips and the footage and the TikToks from the other people that these stories could possibly be about and how they're responding and they're reacting, giving us updates on stories and situations around it. I thought she nailed this. I had such a pleasant time watching this. I feel like I've fallen for her just after one video, so please go support her. I'll leave a link to her video in the description.
and I think this was a very good recommendation. I'm not expecting this one to do too well, because it's a bit of an odd reaction. Jamie recommended this to me and said that Ally is an absolute sweetheart and I really should do a reaction to some of her content. I haven't checked out anything from Ally myself, despite the fact that she gets recommended so much, because I didn't know whether people would want me to do a first-time reaction to Ally or how it would work. But I'm glad I did. I'm very, very glad I did. And for the Swifties who watch my videos, please go support Ally. And yeah, she just seems absolutely wonderful. And I don't know if this reaction will perform that well, but I definitely think it was one that I'm super glad I did. And I'm like, just feel happy like having discovered Ally. If there's any more reactions to any awesome videos that Ally does, let me know. I'm happy to record them. I definitely want to check out more from her. If not, I'm just going to check out Ally in my own time. I'm going to be honest. She has absolutely earned herself a new subscriber. In fact, I'm going to make sure if I'm not... Oh, I already am. I already am subscribed to Ally. Wonderful. All right, well, please go check out Ally. Link to Ally's channel is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know if there is any more you want me to do a reaction to around Ally. And let me know your thoughts on the poems as well. Do you guys think of them in any different ways? Do you have any different insights? Let me know in the comment section down below. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. And as always, my friends, you will see me in the next video.